Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is something that has happened just recently. News in, relevant new information. So a few months ago, I applied to be on a Wellbeing Festival Health Talk panel. It's essentially where you get a few different people that are meant to be experts in their field, talk about nutrition, well-being, health, anything which is meant to make you feel better or, live a bit better, basically. It's all about well-being, basically, Now, it is run by a lady who I am in some way related to. So I don't want to sort of badmouth her and talk negatively about her. It's more about the experience that I had with the panelists themselves. So what happened here was we had a dry run of the talk. So the talk was effectively a 10 to 15 minute presentation where it'd go from one to the other person. It's always like a round table kind of discussion kind of thing where we talk about diet and how our business or our services relate to improving people's well-being. Of course, myself being a carnivore proponent on the online, social media, YouTube, Facebook space, talking about the diet, I've had some pushback, of course, that's to be expected. There is a very large, politically, religiously kind of pushed way of promoting the opposition. I'm saying opposition because they're the people that have the biggest problems with the diet that people like myself typically follow. It's not a case of me versus them, but it is a case of my opinion versus their opinion. The only difference here, in my opinion, is backed by science and facts, as well as hundreds of anecdotes. Now, a little bit of a backstory on me. I come from a background of managing a health food shop that was the best in the south of England. Also, that health food shop happened to be vegan. This was around time like 2020, roughly, around 2019 December I started, basically. Funnily enough, February 2020, I started the carnivore diet whilst I was working there. I had a lot of pushback from people there. Of course, a lot of people that work those sort of places are vegans. It's just the way it goes. What I noticed was they asked me to eat my food away from the building, or at least in a time where people weren't around in the cafe area, like the private staff room area. They didn't like me eating meat in front of them. They also didn't like the smell of microwaved or reheated meat. So that's what I was dealing with there. Their opinion meant my life had to be more difficult. So not ideal. That's the first example. Bear in mind, I'm not someone that sort of ever spoke badly about them or to each other, or, I never said, oh, you're doing the wrong diet, you're unhealthy. I can speak from experience that the vast majority of people that I've met on a vegan or at least a plant-based diet, which happens to be everyone, believe it or not. The average American is consuming a diet of at least 70% plant-based food products in their diet. So most people are, in fact, plant-based, not animal-based. What do we know about the stats? Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, three very obvious things. They're all getting worse. People say it because people eat more. No. Calorie intake has not increased at all, really, over the last 40 years. And there are statistics, there is data to support that fact. What has increased, as we know, is processed foods. What I'm going to say here is a plant-based diet with real food, so at least unprocessed food, is better than a processed food diet. The problem with the plant-based diet is that a lot of it is now processed. A Beyond Meat burger is processed. It's not a single ingredient food item. The carnivore diet, at least the people that I speak to and the proponents of it, are suggesting that we eat a diet of one ingredient foods. That matches what I eat to the majority, maybe 99% of what I consume by nutritive value. Now, getting back to the point of the Wellbeing Festival. So we had the dry run, which is effectively the rehearsal, and it lasted around about 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour. We each gave our talk. I went way over the talk. I just spoke off the top of my head. I didn't practice anything. I didn't have any notes or anything. I had maybe like a few bullet points, but nothing, beyond rudimentary, really. And what happened there was, they're like, wow, I didn't know all that. oh, they're shocked. They were surprised that there was this much information about the carnivore diet, its origins, and the ill effects that a plant-based diet can cause some people. So I outlined those sort of things. I said, before all this, bear in mind, I said, I know you guys aren't of the same mind as me, and that's completely fine. I'm open to discussion and debate sort of thing. I'm a sort of relatively easygoing guy. But this is my standpoint. This is what I want to promote, and this is what I want to talk about. I want to give people a different perspective, because the people at that festival would have very limited scope of understanding. And of course, they'll talk about the epidemiology, the studies, the science. This is health-based. This is about the health outcomes of following different diets. It's a slam dunk for the carnivore diet. I'm not just saying that based on opinion. It is a matter of fact. I actually went to the public health collaboration in Sheffield with Sophie a couple of weeks ago, and they actually had that as a debate. They had the plant-based diet versus the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet did not have any losses against the plant-based diet. The entire audience was in favour of the carnivore diet, and some of the people weren't even carnivore there. They were just like keto dieters, but completely appreciated the value of the carnivore way of eating itself. Again, they scored no points. It was a popular event. A lot of people attended, and they liked it. I liked it as well. It was a good talk. We had Sean Baker, Dr. Chafee, Patrick Holford, Dr. Chiddy, and a few other people that I can't remember. Essentially, I was not able to do the talk. The talk is actually in July, in about a month or so. Now, I prepared for the presentation, this talk, for about 2 to 3 hours. I wrote a lot of notes down. It wasn't a case of me having not enough information. It's about what I could get to change people's minds, adopt a healthier mindset and attitude towards food, particularly animal foods. And from there, what could I do within the time that I had? So about 10, 15-minute talk. I had to refine. So part of it was getting people to understand, okay, we are carnivores by nature. In terms of like the food quantity we should take in, it should be mostly meat, or if not all meat. Then from there, of course, we're talking about the health benefits. And I sort of added a bit of a juxtaposition to my argument, which was, okay, if you are going to consume plant-based foods, here's 3 tips to sort of eat the ones that are more healthful or less harmful, if that makes sense. So it wasn't like I was saying you have to follow carnivore diet. It's like, well, this is the optimal, this is the best case scenario. If you want to do something else, here's your options. So I was very open, very honest, and I provided a very balanced argument in that kind of sense. The other people the 2 panelists that didn't like what I had to say. Ironically, they did like what I had to say when I had that talk with them. This just goes to show, it was the two of those people. They didn't like what I had to say because of their belief system. They weren't scientific people. They weren't people that have had experience in understanding nutrition. They haven't seen people suffer like I have as a result of a not optimal diet. I've seen people die. I've been in the room with people dying in front of me. It's never been because they followed the carnivore diet. Think about it. They're missing something obvious here. Of course, we make the argument for ultra-processed foods and lack of activity, things like that, but it comes down to too much sugar, too much toxins, too much nonsense foods which they should not eat. And our own biology is not designed to eat it. So it's a sad, sad thing. Now, the reason I wanted to do this talk was just to help people out, basically. I wanted to give people some new ideas. And of course, I'd get some traction, some sort of crossover between my nutrition consultancy and what I was saying. But I was trying to be brave, trying to help people out, trying to get people in the right stead, provide a balanced argument to the plant-based versus the carnivore diet. Fortunately, that opportunity was taken from me. Now, again, I want to reiterate the point. It's not the promoter's fault, if that makes sense. It was the fact that the panelists put her in an awkward situation, which I don't respect, I don't condone. It's unscientific. It is just trying to push their own agenda, their own ideology. And me having my talk, the slam dunk that I did perform in the dry run, that was a conflict of interest to them. Now, I didn't go to these 2 panelists and say to them, I don't like what you've got to say, therefore I don't want you on the panel. I had my own argument to make, my own points to make. And everything I say could have been referenced very easily. It could have been backed up by science, facts. It's just a shame. It is a big shame. But at least to have this YouTube platform, I just want to take the time to thank my 4,000 plus subscribers. Hopefully after this video, it still remains at 4,000 plus. And you've given me a way to share my information about the carnivore diet, effective training methodologies, and the best way to build your body using an animal-based or carnivore diet. So thank you for that. It does mean a lot. Because of people like yourself, I've had the opportunity to develop my income. I am somewhat disabled to some degree, however you want to call it. I don't have full mobility in some senses. I am limited in what I have to do each day, and has meant that my income has been lower for periods of time where I've had to sort of find my own way. And this is my own way, making YouTube videos now. Now earning slightly more than I was earning at the health food shop, funnily enough. And I'm impacting more people and giving people new information that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Without sounding arrogant, I do try to remain humble on my channel, but I am a pioneer in what I'm preaching here. No one out there is coming out with the things that I'm coming out with. Now saying it, I have had a lot of help along the way. I've had people like Harry Panos, Professor Bart K, lots of people that have had me on their channel as well, Dr. Chafee, Sean Baker, I've had Jerome Armstrong, my good friend from Wisconsin in the US. He's been featured in a lot of my live video streams, and we've made some great content together, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to know him, and he's someone I consider a good friend, and he's across the pond, thousands of miles away. Amazing what the internet can do. Of course, a special thank you to my partner in crime, Sophie. She's done a very good job with everything behind the scenes, managing me as a person that can't do a lot of stuff. She's been a great help, getting me to appointments, and enabling me, when a lot of times in the past I've felt very disabled. So, what they say, behind every good man is a good woman, or something like that. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.